Now, politics to some extent is a dirty game. This is the only game where even you can go to an extent of giving fake promises. And even at a time, you can go to an extent of giving hope even where there is no hope, with an intention of winning support from those people you expect to vote for you or from the electorate. But when you lie too much, you become irrelevant. The electorate is going to read you, and at the end of the day, they will understand that even what you are trying to promise to them, it cannot be delivered. Or even what you are trying to them, they can link with a past event and try to understand that you are simply just lying to them. So to some extent, it is good you balance what you are telling public, whether it is relevant, and also understand where you are coming from. If you know the things that you are talking about can haunt you to some extent, then it's better you avoid giving such information to the public. And William Samoei Ruto is one individual who is proving out that most of the things that he's telling public are irrelevant to some extent. And even it is proved that what he is trying to sell to the public cannot be achieved in real sense. We are continuing with our punchline discussion, but I have a quick reminder. You might be watching me and you have not yet subscribed. My humble request, please remember to subscribe so that you help us to grow this platform. Again, to all the returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Now, let us continue with our discussion. Now, I think this is one of the flat lies that William Samoei Ruto want to try and run away with. But Kenyans are now here trying to remind him that they don't have any history about William Samoei Ruto in any intention trying to fight for the liberation of this country, whether it is the first or second, or even the current times where we are in now. Because now people are fighting for the economy liberation of the country. We have moved from so many steps backward coming forward. So Ruto has no any link to do with the fight for the liberation of this country. But he comes out clear without blinking an eye, trying to lecture Kenyans on how he has been involved in the liberation of the country. So I think this is one of the undoings of the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. You know, look here, someone like Gideon Moi, during the era of his father, Mzee Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, even up to date, Gideon Moi is still trying to fight to get out of the Moism. Because if you remember, many Kenyans who have suffered in the hands of Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi during for the fight of the second liberation of this country, you know, there are so many individuals who have suffered. That's why even Gideon Moi is trying to rebrand the KANU party and coming out as Gideon Moi and not the son of Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. So that tells you that those people who have ever supported Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi during his era of leadership, they are the enemy of Kenyans who are fighting for the second liberation of the country. And the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has one of the individuals who have supported Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi all the way from his time when he was at the university. When many of the university students were fighting for liberation, the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto was among individuals who were supporting the regime by that time. And it tells you, all the way from the YK92, Kenyans have reminded him on the social media, where even many individuals understand that this is the time when William Samoei Ruto started making his money. And for that reason, Ruto has never been employed anywhere. So even Gideon Moi is avoiding to go that direction. But Ruto, now William Samoei Ruto can talk of any other things in Kenya, but when it comes to liberation, this is the only place where he should try to avoid himself going into that direction. That's why you see it has been very easy for Kenyans to drill him online about his remarks on the liberation of this country, where it has come from and which direction this country is heading to. And you see someone like President Uhuru Kenyatta, despite getting sympathy from Kenyans, during the ICC cases when he was voted in, there is also another sympathy he still get there, that he can be remembered as the former president's son, a president who was at least one time jailed during the fight for the independence of the country. So that sympathy goes with President Uhuru Kenyatta. So in that line, he can be, at least, he can talk about liberation of the country because his father was involved in that liberation despite all the other downfall of his leadership. So that can be understood. Someone like Raila Amolo Odinga, his father was involved directly, and Raila Amolo Odinga has involved directly in the fight for the liberation of this country. So these individuals, at least when they talk about liberation, someone can understand where they are coming from and which direction they are going to. Akina Orengo and the team. But now William Samoei Ruto come here, whom even his father has never involved in the fight for liberation of this country, and now he's talking about liberation and want to lecture Kenyans on how he is involving himself in the liberation of the country. So that is one of his downfalls. That is the direction William Samoei Ruto should not think to go. And I think this can be a hindrance to his campaign in 2022 general election. The same William Samoei Ruto comes here and lecture the regime about trying to infringe on the right of Kenyans through the court, through the BBI. You know, he's talking about Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta trying to tamper with our constitution, when it is evidently clear that William Samoei Ruto was against the current constitution that we have now. When Raila was for yes, Ruto went for no. He joined the church and he was campaigning against this new constitution that we have currently. So Kenyans can see how Ruto is simply just lying to them. Despite now he is coming out as a defender of the constitution, what Kenyans still remind him is how he fought against this current constitution that we are having now. The constitution that has protected his position as the deputy president from being sacked by the president is the same constitution he was fighting against when people were fighting to have this new constitution. When Kenyans were fighting for multi-party, Ruto was defending Moi during that time. Again, something that I'm surprised is how Ruto is coming out clear to pretend defending the judges when Maraga ruled one time back in 2017 general election. Ruto came out and told Maraga openly that, Maraga, look here, you have had your day, but our day is coming. Keep off and let us politicians do our work. But now, he is coming in as a person who is defending the judges and, you know, as a defender of the common mwananchi. So, all these directions, I think William Samoei Ruto should have just avoided and then let him concentrate on his hustler narrative. Let him concentrate on the hustler narrative. But when he tried to change and try to champion himself as someone who has been a defender of the common mwananchi, I think people will see Ruto as irrelevant person. He could just continue with his narrative of hustler. You know, that thing was selling. And now even when he bring in the mix to do with the issue of a bottom-up approach, you know, this one has been one of the hardest time for Ruto to explain himself about the bottom-down approach to the economy. So let him continue selling his agenda of hustler. I think this thing was selling. But once he tried to mix himself with the fight for liberation, defend of the human right, all these things, Ruto has been against them. So he should avoid and try to play the other side. I think it can sell for him. But the direction he's taking, in my view, I think Ruto is trying to expose himself more to Kenyans. And the Kenyans are going to learn more about his weaknesses. And through the ballot, they can come out and vote against him. Thank you so much for listening to me up to this far. Tell me in the comment section, what is your view about William Samoei Ruto remarks on the fight for the liberation of the country. See you in our next video.